Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. If you are new here though, my name is Bram. I talk about all things fashion, luxury, lifestyle, travel, and shopping. So if those are things that are interesting to you, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and become a member of my growing YouTube family. We would love to have you. Also, if you are not already following me on Instagram, I'm going to throw my Instagram handle up right here so that you can do that. Okay, guys. So this is number two. I'm always transparent. This is the second video that I am filming today. If you saw my video yesterday, I hope it wasn't too bad. I feel like, I don't know, like I'm just like not normal today, I guess. So hopefully, I think that, I'll tell you what. I do certain videos because I think that people are like they want to know about certain things, right? And they want ideas on certain things. And then there are certain times that I do these videos and I'm like, I think because I'm not 100% into it, like it absolutely shows. I feel like you guys can tell immediately when I'm like super into a topic or whatever, or when I'm not. And so yesterday's video, hopefully that didn't like completely flop, but yesterday's video was all about like entry level designer bags for under $1,000. And while I really like all of my suggestions, my heart is just not in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I really like all the bags that I suggested because it wouldn't be on my list if I didn't. However, I'm not the hugest contemporary bag fan in general. Again, I like all of the bags, but I feel like you guys can definitely tell when I'm kind of like, oh, like I love that for you. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, I love that for me. And I know that like everybody has different tastes, and I don't want to just appeal to like the three other people that have the same taste as me, because I feel like my taste is kind of like it's loud, and it's definitely a little loud, like a sparkly, like there are certain things that, you know, like kitschy and whatever. And so I know that most people like don't like that stuff. So I try my best to recommend things that I actually do like, just maybe not for myself. And I think that when I talk about those things, I just don't feel like I light up the same way. So I want to continue talking about them because I like talking about fashion, period. But I feel like maybe that was why my video, like it just, for, I don't know, maybe when I play it back, I'll be like, oh, this wasn't as bad as I thought. And then all of this will make no sense. But I really feel like I just wasn't on point. And I think it was because I just, I don't know. Like I said, I really liked my list yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go watch it and come back. Um, well, maybe don't. Maybe watch this one first and then that one, because I feel like this one's going to be better. But on that list, I talked about like the Stod Ronnie bag. Not the Ronnie bag, but well, I like that bag. But no, the Stod Tommy bag, which I've been looking for. As you guys know, I was on a mission. If you watched my vlog, I really obviously very much like that bag. And I'm really into that MCM big, like I said, like that welcome back Cotter, like big, it's called the Vicettos XL bag. Super into that bag. Everything else on there I really like. Like I like the polo play. There's a lot on that list that I really like, but it just doesn't have my heart the same way that honestly like early 2000s luxury has my heart. So this is going to be, in my opinion, a better video just because I myself am like, I know that you can tell that I like talking about this. Okay. So that's just my explanation on why I feel like maybe the last video was a little bit of a dud, and that's all. But it's not that I don't like the things. It's that, again, there are certain things that I really like talking about and certain things that I just not as much and not for as long, you know? Okay. All right. So let's talk. So the sorry, I'm a little itchy. The idea of this video, again, yesterday's video was affordable entry level bags under $1,000 that are new from the store. Now today is vintage and pre-loved luxury, also under $1,000. And obviously I'm not going to give you any prices because they range, but for the most part, any of the bags on this list, you will find for under 1,000 or well under 1,000. Okay. Yeah. You ready? All right, let's go. Because you know how I feel about this stuff. This stuff is like overlove it. Okay. First of all, I would say okay, there's going to be some discussion on if this is actually a bag or not. But I think it is a bag. I have, at my peak, I had like 5 of them. We're talking about the Hermes Brac. I'm putting it there. I had like 5 at like when I was like super into it, maybe 2 years ago. I now currently own one in the GM size, and it is like a big orange one. Oh no, sorry, I own 2, a black and an orange. Sorry. I really, really love this bag. I like it in the smaller size better. I think that it just, both sides hold a ton. Like you'd be surprised at how much both sizes hold. I just think that the smaller one looks a little more, it's just more compact and cute, you know? I know that a lot of people are like, well, this isn't really a bag. It is like a makeup case. And yes, technically it's a makeup case, I guess, but like I wouldn't want to put makeup and get it all messy. I don't know. Maybe that's just not my like income bracket. But I don't think I would ever want to do it. Like they're really adorable bags and they come in some really, really cute colors. I'm really liking the light blue color is super cute, but like my black goes with everything. I will say it's not wearing amazing. That's why I would say get it used because then you could just use it and throw it around. And a orange one is actually aging much better and wearing much better. But either way, they get a ton of use in the summertime. They're just like easy grab and go little bags. And that's it. They're just like cute and easy to use. And I think that they're good like for like literally all day. Like, yeah, you can wear them to the beach if you want to. You can wear them on vacation, like depending on the color you get and obviously what you're wearing and all that stuff. But I also think you can wear them out to dinner. Like, I just think that they're extremely versatile and they're a really decent price. And you can, like, they range in price, but they're everywhere. You can get them on eBay, you can get them on Fashion File, you can get them on Rebag. Like they pop up all over the place. And you can definitely find one in a good color, in a price that you are comfortable paying. And it doesn't even need to come close to $1,000. So next one is the Vuitton Suhali. So, and I'm talking about the whole line. Do you guys, I believe it's goat. I believe it's goat skin. They are, I remember when they first came out and I loved I think it was the Le Fabulo. Am I saying it right? I don't know. Anyway, I loved that bag. I thought it's so early 2000s. It's such a great bag, so much hardware. Basically, almost every shape that they made in like the Murakami line also came in the Suhali line. So there was, just different like trunk bags and whatever. The leather is very like structured. It's a very heavy bag. I also loved that like doctor shaped one. You can find these on the secondhand market in relatively good condition because the leather is like a very thick, like hard wearing leather. And it's just like the hardware, in my opinion, that could be dinged up depending on how much somebody used it. But it's a heavy bag. They're all pretty heavy. So hopefully, like if you do decide to get it, you can get it at a great condition because whoever maybe had it before didn't use it a lot because it was such a heavy bag. So I don't know. But you can definitely find, like I said, the whole line. My favorite color. Well, actually, I think it came in 4 colors, if I'm not mistaken. Just off the top of my head, there was a white, like a bone color, like this maybe. There was a blue that was my favorite at the time. The blue was my favorite. Now I would say it would be either the white or there was like a Bordeaux color, and then there was the black. So yeah, just in general, like that line to me is just a great line. It also is, I think it's great because you know how now Louis Vuitton keeps coming out with like the soft trunks, the side trunks, the mini trunks, like all of these like trunk inspired bags. But the Suhali line had all of those finishes that gave it that trunk look. So you could totally get something very heritage-y, trunk-esque that is not $3,000. Literally, you can find this for, I've seen them for 400, 500, 600, like in that range. So you can totally get something from that line at a really great price. Plus, they're big enough, they're functional. It's something that you can use all the time that, anyway, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Next one is, and I have, this is one that I have been kind of thinking about adding back into my collection at some point soon. And they come in a majority, uh, not a majority, a multitude of colors. So this is the this is my notes, my shorthand notes. Okay, so the Louis Vuitton Epi leather in either the Speedy or the Noe. So I personally love the Epi in the Noe. If you can find one in good condition, I feel like that is such a workhorse bag. And obviously the Epi comes in like some really, really great colors. I love the yellow. I would say that the green and the yellow have always been my favorites. I love the red. I love the blue. All of them are beautiful. Obviously, black, as you know, is not so much my thing, but those colors, absolutely incredible. You can find, I think that the Speedy, I've seen it multiple times in the green. You can get it in 25 and 30 and 35, whatever you want. They came in all of the sizes, all of the colors, whatever. My favorites are either the Speedy 25 or 30 in the green or the blue. Those are my two favorite Speedies. And then I really love, for whatever reason, the Noe in either the yellow or the red. I don't know why, but that's what I like. And you can find these like on the Real for a few $100s. Again, obviously condition is going to play a part, but you're not even going to get close to the $1,000 mark on these bags. And super hard wearing, like I said, you'll have them forever. They're absolute classics and they go with everything. Like what I love about the Epi, I'm not the hugest Epi leather fan, but those two bags specifically, I like the fact that it's a hard wearing bag, so it really takes a beating. And also, I just don't like it because it's very structured. I think that's my thing. Like I like the way it looks, but it's just not. It's a structured bag. The leather is hard, but that's also the reason that it lasts forever. I like the fact that it can be like the pop of color for your outfit. So if you have like whatever, the green, the red, the yellow, whatever color you choose, you can have and you can color block with that bag. Like, I just think it's such an easy bag to use and incorporate into your outfits. So it's so good. I love it. Okay. Next one is Louis Vuitton, the Vernis collection. So there are certain Vernis bags that you can get for well under 1,000. Some of them hover around 1,000. I don't think that they wear the best, but you can definitely find some in really good condition. It's not an everyday bag. It's a patent leather bag. It's not necessarily an everyday bag. The easy way to go, in my opinion, with Vernis is like an Alma PM or a BB, right? So you can find those online. Usually those are a little over 1,000 unless they are not in good condition. But I'm a sucker for like the Marmont, the just like the really red. I don't remember the Pomme d'Amour, right? Those two colors were always my favorites. I just think it's like a beautiful, like juicy red, or like with the Amarant, it's like that brownish red where like if the light catches it right. I remember when that color first came out, and it was like everyone like jaw was on the floor because when the light caught it correctly, it was like that beautiful like red delicious apple red, but without the light it was like kind of like a brown. So such a cool color. I love that. The blue, that really dark beautiful blue, was also really good. I just think they have some really 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 good colors. I'm not so much a fan of like the GM Almas, but the PM Almas are like it's a classic. It's just a classic bag. Even in the Vernis, I feel like the Vernis just gives it a little bit of an extra touch. However, the bags that you can get at a really good deal would be something like the I was about to say the Houston bag. It's called the Houston bag. Just if anybody is wondering, the initial Vernis collection were named after streets in New York, and the street that people not from New York call Houston Street, it's Houston. It's called Houston Street. It's Houston Street. It's spelled like Houston, but it's Houston. So the Houston bag that everybody calls, I feel like the Houston bag. It's the Houston bag shape. I like the spring. They just have so many good ones. Anyway, you can find a really cool vintage Vernis piece at a fantastic price. There's also like the ones that came a little bit later on, the Bria. I think it's called the Bria bag, which is a little bit more structured and it's like longer. You have the Rosewood bag. There's so many good ones. So I think that is like, as long as you can find one that's not like too like discolored. Obviously, I think that the darker colors are the better way to go, of course, because they will last longer. The lighter colors didn't tend to, age very well because if they were in the sun or they were put away for a while, if you had, like if we're talking about like the beige, the light pink colors, they didn't age great. The first round of them, I believe there was like a really beautiful soft yellow, didn't age very well. So you just have to look. You have to be patient and you have to look. But some of those bags are like, I feel like at some point the market is going to go crazy again. So like now is the time to do it. Now is the time to find one and just like hold on to it. But I love those bags. And I think that they're beautiful for, I mean, for me, it's an everyday bag, but I think they're beautiful to take to dinner. They're beautiful for an event. Like they're totally, totally versatile. And you can get them at a great price. All right, next one would be, I don't know if it's called the Jody, and I actually wrote myself a note to look this up before I got on here, but I film on my camera and I don't want to break my stride. So I would say the old Bottega Veneta shoulder bags. Okay, so we're talking the Jody without the knot. I don't know if it was called the Jody back then. It might have been because I know it was named after Jodie Foster, and I feel like it wasn't named after her recently. I feel like this was like an old thing. So forgive me for not knowing, but the old original Bottega Veneta shoulder bags are still relatively inexpensive. So as long as you're okay with the Jody without the knot, like, and it, they also have, oh my God. Yeah, you can tell. I'm like Bottega was never really my thing. I liked them. It was my internship in I was outside. My internship in college was for Bottega. And so I have a little soft spot for them, even though it was the job that made me decide to absolutely not go into fashion, at least not for anybody else. And yeah, so it wasn't a wonderful place to work, but I do have a little soft spot just because it's nostalgic. But anything old Bottega, like they're just super classic, and you can get them in a range of colors. And for whatever reason, even though it's literally almost the same bag, the shoulder bags from the early 2000s, the late 90s, or whatever, are super cheap. And they look just like the newer versions. And I was going to say there's that new version that's like a little more like triangle, like without the knot. And there's a lot of old bags that kind of look like that. Like the Jody looks kind of like that. The only difference is like these edges. So like the new one has like the sharper edges. The old one, there was a lot of like softer edges, but it at some point new Bottega is going to make softer edges, and like the old bags are going to shoot up in price. So I personally would grab, like, if you want something nice and simple but like with that beautiful intricato weave, I would go that route. I think they're beautiful bags. I've had a few in my time. Next one is, of course, the Fendi Baguette. Listen, I just talked about this actually the other day when I unboxed the Gucci bag. I said, obviously, we know that these prices have gone through the roof, right? But you can still get a deal. There are deals to be had. Usually it's on like the more simple versions, it's not the crazy versions, but you can definitely find a baguette in the Zuka print, just the regular Zuka print, even the mini Zuka print sometimes. And they made the mini Zuka print. If you guys remember, there was a brown, I believe, there was a pink, there was a blue, there were quite a few. And you can definitely find them on the secondhand market for under 1,000. Maybe not by much, but definitely under 1,000. I would say the baguette bag. I would say the mama baguette as well, in any of those like plainer prints, or even just like a completely plain print, like the jersey, just like a black jersey or like a denim or whatever. Totally can still happen for under $1,000. And I would grab that and hold on, because I don't see the Fendi Baguette losing steam at this point. I think it's solidly in the, maybe certain ones, there are always like certain ones that are going to be super hard to get, and then the want for them kind of dissipates a little bit, and like the price comes down a little bit, and it's kind of like it goes like this. But for the most part, I feel like they are solidly classics now, and so like they're not going to go down by much. Like you're never going to find another one for like $300 unless it's like beat to, into the ground, like somebody like drove a truck over it, you know what I mean? But like a regular decent condition one, yeah, you're just not going to find it for super, super, super cheap anymore. So like if you find them, or when you find them under 1,000 for like the plainer versions, I would grab them, because I don't think that they're going to be under 1,000 for long. Like they're just going to keep going up. They will. Next one. This it's a 2 for 1 here. And this depends on your style. I had both of these bags actually, and yeah, I think they're going to come back at some point. So I'm talking about the Celine trapeze bag and the nano luggage, and the Phantom. Honestly, those 3 bags are so specifically 2010s. 5 more years, I give it about 5 years, and they will be back, and they will probably be expensive. I've actually seen them starting to like kind of creep up in certain prints on the secondhand market. So if you like that style, I personally, so I had the Phantom and like a croc. That's one that I won't be buying again. I'll be honest. That was about 50,000 pounds when it was full. And I used to wear it to work, like with the big like platform heels. Oh my God. Like I don't even know how I made it through the day, honestly. But that's what we did. We did that back then. And it's very heavy. It's very, very heavy. So that's one that I definitely like. You can get it at an amazing deal right now. You just have to be okay with like the workout, the mini, the nano like luggage, the nano luggage, super cute. I think it comes, if I'm not mistaken, that one comes with a strap. So if you're okay with like cross-bodying it, then that's what I would do. I think they're cute. A lot of people say that they look like the face of it has like the robot face. I agree. It's not my favorite version. My favorite was the trapeze, and I never actually ended up with one for whatever reason. But if I was to go down that Celine route and get one, which at some point I might, I would do the trapeze. And I really, first of all, I believe it also had a strap, but it wasn't as cool to wear it with a strap. Like back then, at least, it was the handheld. I would put like 3 things in it, because the Phantom absolutely like traumatized me. I would like literally just have my keys floating around in that bag, and that's it. But that I still love the look of that bag. You couldn't like, that was like the it girl bag of the early 2010s, right? That was the 2015, 2014. Am I right? Is that the time frame? That was the bag. And maybe even a little bit before that. But yeah, I absolutely wanted one so bad, and I don't know why I never pulled the trigger on it. Like I said, maybe it was literally the Phantom bag that just destroyed it for me. I was like, never again. But you can get all 3 of them at really good deals, and they are really cool bags. And at some point they're going to come back and it's going to be one of those things where you're going to like be thinking about them. And the next week they're going to be, $1,500, $2,000 a piece again, where right now they're like $400 or $500. So, and in good condition too. Next one. Oh, and I'm going to do a little mention here actually. So I was obsessed with the Celine box bag for a little while. It's a little plain for me, but I was into it for a moment and I didn't want to buy it in store because it was super expensive. And I would look on the secondhand market and it was still super expensive. And so I never ended up with one. If you are kind of a little bit plainer, if you like if you're into like the Constance or whatever, honestly, the box bag is a really good alternative in my opinion. Yes, it's very simple, it's very understated, but it's an if you know, you know bag. And they're super, super cheap on the secondhand market. Finally, it took a long time. I didn't look at the prices. I want to say they hover at about between like 800 to 1200 right now on the secondhand market, depending on the color, depending on the finish, depending on the condition. But that's definitely one that if you want something a little bit more simple, that's definitely the route that I would go. I think it's still a beautiful bag, and if you are good with crossbody, you can loop it around and make it like a short shoulder bag. There's a lot you can do with that bag. There's a lot. All right, next one is the Dior Trotter Boston bag. Boston. Why did I say it like that? Boston bag. It is that one. Honestly, a lot of the Dior Trotter bags are really good prices. They are like a coated canvas. There's a lot of, some of them are coated canvas. Some of them are just canvas. But I don't have anything else to say about it. It's a really great bag. I super love this bag. At one point in time I had it in the blue in the Boston bag shape. Don't know what happened to it. I must have sold it. I talked about this. I talked about this where I said one of my last videos that I sold on eBay. So a lot of things kind of came through my hands and left very quickly. And this was definitely one of them for whatever reason, but I was motivated by money. I was definitely motivated by money. I mean, as we are, I mean, I had to make a living, but I think what would happen a lot of times is if I knew that I could get a lot for it at the time, I would sell things. I wouldn't even keep them for myself. So I would keep them for a second and then I was like, okay, I got it out of my system and sold it. And then here I am 20 years later where I'm like, damn it. That bag is really inexpensive on the secondhand market. You can find them anywhere from I would say like 400 to like 800 or 900, depending on condition, depending on color, all that stuff. I really like the burgundy. That would be one that I would definitely add to my collection. I think it's a great bag. Next one is the Fendi Kan I bag. Okay, so this is more recent, obviously. This is, I don't know, when did it come out? 2017, maybe 2016 or 17? The simple ones you can get now for about $800 or $900. I don't know how much people are loving them at the moment. I think it's going to be a minute until these really come back in because obviously we're only about 10 years, not even 10 years after like the absolute craze of this bag. But the Fendi like berries, pineapples are coming back in. So, and this was the same time frame. You can get these in some really fun prints. Fendi always does, in my opinion, the most amazing creative like prints and designs and materials and all that stuff. So you can get this bag in like a really great fun metallic or like ribbons, or there was a lot of different variations of them, and you can get it for a really good price. For whatever reason now, you can definitely get it for a really good price at the moment. I don't think that's going to happen for long. Do I think this is going to be a classic? No, I don't think it's going to come back in the same way that the baguette did, but I do think that we're going to see a rise in it at some point, just because it's going to be harder and harder to get that Fendi creative, beautiful, different materials at a good price. And so I think that at some point people are just going to begin to pick through the previous like items that, or previous bags that have been on the market that are, maximalist and beautiful quality and all that stuff, I think that we're going to end up with like people picking through like the different shapes and designs and whatever. And at some points it's going to come back because again, like we're never going to see that same like workmanship and design at that price point again. So yeah, I just don't see it staying low forever. I could be wrong, but anyway, there's a few out there right now that are in like great condition, number one, and in really fun, beautiful styles, so or variations or whatever you want to say. So anyway, so you can get that at a really good price. I would, like I said, I would say a lot of them that I see are like $800 to $900 right now. Next one is, and this is actually the last one, although I'm gonna mention one more before I end this, just because I'm on a roll here. Okay, so all right, next one is just a classic Louis Vuitton. So you can get the papillon, you can get the looping bag, you can get the musset, you can get any of those the ellipse bag, any of those classic LV shapes before they started changing everything. Even a classic Speedy for under $1,000 on the pre-loved market. And that's the route that I would go. That is 100% the route that I would go if you are looking for a classic Louis Vuitton bag. You can 100% find almost every old style for, I would say, under even $700, depending on condition. There is like some really cool backpacks. There are some really, really very cool styles that they had that we don't even think about anymore. I mean, you can go down a hole on eBay so freaking far, you'll end up in Middle Earth, with the type of Louis Vuitton like classics that you can find for under $1,000, well under $1,000. So, in my last video, I was talking about there's really nothing new in store. Like if you want name brand, like there really is nothing worth it, in my opinion, under $1,000 that is like a bag. But on the secondhand market, if you're looking for just that classic Louis Vuitton or classic Gucci, vintage is going to always be your way to go. And classic LV, in my opinion, now is like super, super cool. There's some really cool shapes that I think were sort of like a little out for a little while that are just so freaking cool right now. Like the ellipse bag. Oh, I love the ellipse bag. There is I don't remember the name, guys, but there's a backpack that I'm looking at. Maybe I shouldn't tell you guys until I get it. But there is a really amazing, cool, it almost looks like very like model off duty. It's a 90s style backpack from Louis Vuitton. I'll give you some hints. And it is something that you would see, I think, as you're like flipping, going through the pages of like whatever, the Real or Fashion File or whatever, and you would not think twice about it. The only reason that it caught my attention was actually somebody that I was watching on YouTube, I don't even remember who, mentioned that it was like their most used bag of the last year. And I saw it and I was like, that is the coolest. Like I would never stop for this bag. But there's some hidden gems in there that are just like, you won't see them coming and going. But people will know and respect what it is. Like it's like fashion heritage. And I don't mean logo wise. I mean like, and whenever I talk about or whenever I think about these logos, maybe that's what I'll say. Whenever I think about these logos and like impressing people with it, I don't feel like for me, it's not about impressing anybody, period. But it's not about impressing anybody with like what I paid for something. I like to impress with like if you know, like everyone's not going to look at me and be like, oh my God, that bag is like, what is that bag? But the people that know fashion and know like fashion history are going to look at it and be like, oh my God, that is the coolest bag. Like your eye is amazing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's more of like the respect for the actual piece than it has anything to do with the amount of money that I spent on it, because I'm the first to tell you guys, like, I got an amazing deal. That's what, like, I don't want to spend a lot on this stuff. I don't. I want to get things like, that's where I am right now. I have nothing to prove. It's about knowing like what's cool and what's not. Does that make sense? Does that sound stupid? I don't know, but I hope that you guys understand my point on that, right? So, sorry, let me adjust myself. I have to be so bad. Okay, we're going to end this because, and then one last one, like I said, just because I'm on a roll, the last thing that you can find for about $1,000, I would say, is the Gucci Marmont bags. Now, they have them going strong in the store. I think they brought them back without the heart on the back or something. Like, I don't even know why that matters. But the Marmont bags, I have seen them on the secondhand market just from that time period. The Dionysus bags, the Marmont bags, those flat bags from that 2015, 16, 17 era. I think at some point they're going to come back, and they're going to come back strong, in my opinion, especially the more like over the top ones, because that tends to be what happens. And I would give it another 10 years though. But at the moment, if you're still into it and you still are like, you like the style, I think that in my opinion, the Dionysus, it looks a little dated, I guess, depending on the style that you get, but I think it's a great bag, and you can get some of the over-the-top maximalist, like patchwork everywhere sequin ones for under $1,000. I would say like in the $800-900 range. You can definitely, on the high end, I would say like $1,200. And the Marmont bags, same exact thing. Just depends on the condition and all that, but they have quite a few online in all different variations that are like in that $1,000 middle point. And yeah, I think it's a good time to buy. I think it's a good time to buy those. Personally, I think that they're still cool. I think that it just depends on how you wear them and which ones you choose, in my opinion. Like, yeah, it's not the coolest thing right now in the world. It's not what's on trend, but it's a very beautiful bag, period. I am definitely over certain versions of the Marmont, 100%. But there are some great ones on the secondhand market, like some special ones that you can find at a really good price if you look. And if you're into like the special things, it really depends on what you're into. Do you want the classics? Do you want the over the top? Like, what are you looking for? Okay, guys, I've talked long enough, and I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pee, so I'm going to get off right now. And I'm all about TMI. Thank you for watching. If you have made it this far, I truly, truly appreciate you. If you have not already subscribed, but you would like to, I would love to have you here. What else? Throw out my Instagram handle one more time, just in case you are not already following me over there. Come and follow me over there. And that's it, I guess. Yes, I guess. There's always something to say, but I'm going to stop it there because we're almost at 40 minutes, and I'm going to try to edit this down so you guys aren't going crazy. If you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would help out a ton. And I'm going to put another video right over here, just in case you haven't seen it and you are not done watching me yet. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you on Monday.